Now, there's a great deal of history attached to our motorsport action this afternoon, the RAC Tourist Trophy at Donington Park. Alain Menu defending a trophy which also carries the names of such all-time greats as Stirling Moss and Graham Hill. Our commentators, Murray Walker and Charlie Cox, but we'll hear firstly from Steve Slater.
Donington Park plays host to Britain's oldest motor race, the RAC Tourist Trophy, first held in 1905. But today it's very different from when Napier and C.S. Rolls battled wheel to wheel on the Isle of Man. Today it's the era of touring car stars. Last year, victory and the winner-takes-all £25,000 prize went to Alain Menu, a winning streak that continued to make him the '98 Auto Trader Touring Car Champion. Now he's after a double.
Yeah, obviously I want to win, you know. I mean, when I drive the racing car, I mean, it's to do the best I can, and you know, I'm here to win. But it's weird because it's championship being over now. It's like the pressure has dropped now, and it's almost like everything was finished and done with. And I had to pump myself up again for that weekend. But I'm getting there now. I feel pretty confident today. So.
2 heats will set the positions for the Tourist Trophy final, and Menu faces a wider range of competition than ever before. From the British Championship come Cleland, Rydell, Plato, Bieler and Anthony Reid, to name but a few. And they're joined by the front-runners from the German and Scandinavian Touring Car Championships, plus British Formula 3 champion Johnny Kane, top lady racer Paula Cook, both making their touring car debuts, along with the unique profile of New Zealander Aaron Slight. The World Superbike Championship rider won on his last visit to Donington Park, but that was on a two-wheeled Honda, very different to his new Accord.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty unsure because I don't even know where the front of the car or the rear car is yet. You know, it seems to differ away a lot, and I don't know where I am, but at least I got something around me now, and yeah, I'll be feeling pretty confident at that first turn.
And as the cars line up for the first heat, we join Charlie Cox and Murray Walker.
The grid for race 1's going to be reversed for race 2, so it's an unusual tactical lineup. Reid and Plato on row 1's no surprise, and nor are Rickard Rydell and Germany's Frank Bieler on row 2. But Formula 3 champion Johnny Kane's a superb 5th ahead of Paul Radicic. Motorcycle star Aaron Slight a superb 6th with Frenchman Ivan Müller. Armin Hahne from Germany and Denmark's Chris Nissen. Christian Abt's a German star and Paula Cook's done well at 12th. Followed by Tim Sugden and Finland's Kari Mäkinen. But where are champions Alain Menu and John Cleland, Audi ace John Beatcliffe, David Leslie and Will Hoy? Answer, at the back, aiming to start up front in race 2. And it's go in race 1, 22 top men for the first of 2 20-lap heats. Anthony Reid leads, Plato second, Frank Bieler, number 2, has gone up to 3rd place ahead of Rickard Rydell as they round Redgate. Johnny Kane, 5th position in his first tin top race. Down the Craner curves, 130 miles an hour. Reid, Plato, Bieler, Rydell, Kane, that's Radicic in the Blue Mondeo, and he's going through and taking Johnny Kane as they climb out of the old hairpin. And we're with Christian Abt.
That was a brilliantly strong pass by Radicic up the inside there. Very, very late on brakes. Fast part of the circuit. So brave in the opening lap.
Matthew Neal off in the Ford Mondeo. Don't know what the trouble was, but he's well and truly out of the race. Coppice, look at them. Look how close they are. 1st, 2nd and 3rd, 4th, absolutely together. We're in car with Rickard Rydell, chasing Frank Bieler. This is the last race meeting for the 4-wheel drive Audi ahead. And down to the S's they come. It's the short circuit. So right, left, and then into the run down to Redgate Corner. Looking back from Jason Plato, that's Frank Bieler in the Audi. 3rd position, 2nd in the British Touring Car Championship this year. But Plato staying well ahead as they turn into Redgate. Anthony Reid still leading. Plato is 2nd, and his teammate Alain Menu is flying. He's up to 12th from 18th. Now, we're with Hahne, looking back.
That's Slight in the Honda, and he's been hit by Müller. Hit from behind by Müller in the Audi, and bang, off backwards. That was a big impact, Murray.
Indeed it was. Old hairpin, and Anthony Reid still got a clear track ahead of him as he climbs up to McLean's again. Now, look back. You'll see 2 yellow cars. There they are. Chris Nissen and Christian Abt in the Audis, 6th and 7th. So, out of McLean, up towards Coppice, the highest point of the circuit.
And look at Jason Plato in the yellow Renault there coming under real pressure from Beeler. He had to move inside up to the crest of the hill to cover. And now Beeler's coming under pressure from the Volvo. He's lost some momentum and he's really in the squeeze.
Here's the proof. We're with Rickard Rydell in the Volvo. That's Beeler ahead as they come down to the S's. Rickard Rydell trying to go through on the inside. Is Beeler going to block him? No! There's contact there, but Rydell goes through and moves up into third place. And Beeler in the silver Audi is still in trouble because Paul Radicic is having a go. In fact, he's got past him. Radicic in the blue Mondeo turns into Redgate, and he is up into fourth position. And look at the yellow Renault, that's Alan Menu. He's up into 11th place. Leslie's chasing him. Cleland and Hoy absolutely together. We're with John Cleland now.
Heading down onto the fastest, scariest part of the circuit, the Craner Curves, in car with John Cleland. And this isn't a natural racing line he's on. There's got to be someone around, and there it is. Will Hoy passes down the inside in the Craner Curves, flat out in sixth gear down there, doing well over 100 miles an hour. Big move.
So, Paul Radicic, fourth place. Frank Beeler behind him in fifth position. Round the old hairpin, climbing again up to McLean. This is it, out of Coppice. Reed, Plato, Rydell, Radicic and Beeler. And Anthony Reid is certainly looking good for his first win in the Nissan, and that's Matthew Neal. Here's a replay.
So this is what happened. He's passing Jan Brunstedt in the Opel down the Craner Curves. This is the first lap, remember, so his tyres are cold. Turns in very fast and just loses it. And wow, look how fast he slides across the grass.
On into the gravel trap.
And that gravel trap is the only one I know designed to stop you rejoining the circuit.
But look at this. The second yellow car is Alan Menu. Watch him. He's passing Armin Harner's Volvo, and Menu is up from 18th to 9th. What a fabulous drive. We're with him. Johnny Kane is ahead in the Honda Accord. So Alan Menu, as he plunges down to the old hairpin at 130 miles an hour, is going for 8th place, and he's eating the distance to Kane.
You'd swear he was in another class of car altogether. He's absolutely flying, not only in the handling, now look at the power. He got beautifully out of the old hairpin, putting the power on, but Kane's just much too slow for him. He's in the way, smooth the silk straight past him. Unbelievable difference.
And Johnny Kane is inexperienced, of course, to be fair, in a touring car, and it's Christian Abt now. So there is the yellow Audi, there is the yellow Renault, and Alan Menu is going for that 7th position. It's ahead of us down the Starkey Straight, and Menu just pulls to the right. He's in exactly the right place now to go through and take the place at the exit.
Brilliant power advantage. Abt's made room for me, and as we go on the right, left there on the short circuit, a much more interesting circuit in a way for the drivers. Shorter, but it really flows. We lose the hard Melbourne loop, awkward braking, and it really suits the Renault.
So there goes Alan Menu down to Redgate. Nissan, Menu, Christian Abt. Behind him is Johnny Kane. Behind him is Armin Harner. Here's a replay. Now, what happened to Aaron Slight?
We're with Muller in the Audi. It's Armin Harner on the right-hand side in the Volvo getting past. That's slowed up Aaron Slight. He's moving across to cover now as we head down. There's just the tiniest bit of contact between the two. Muller kept the boot in, he didn't lift the throttle, and there goes Slight backwards hard into the wall.
And Alan Menu is flying. He's up into 7th position, watched by Christian Abt. We're in the Audi now. Coppice and Johnny Kane passes, goes up into 8th position, and Armin Harner goes past Christian Abt. Now we're with Harner now. That's Abt in the yellow car on the right. Muller, there's Muller in the left in the silver Audi. He's going to have a go on the inside, and he dives through, passes Christian Abt. They're all together. Yes, and Muller goes through and takes Harner. David Leslie is there too, and he's off. He's off, but he gets back on the track. We're with Harner again. Abt to the right, Leslie to the left in the Nissan, down to Redgate.
What a high-speed traffic jam. Kane, Muller, Harner, Leslie, and poor old Abt is just getting propelled backwards at the rate of knots. He's shuffled back about half a dozen spots.
Yeah, indeed he has. We're with him now. There's David Leslie in the Nissan Primera, bearing down on him in the Craner Curves, and is he going to go through on the inside? Indeed he is. David Leslie takes the place, pulleys and pushes and barges his way through. Harner has to give way. Now we're with John Cleland. He's taking advantage of the situation. Harner on the left, Leslie on the right. Now there is Leslie finally going through at McLean's. So back at place goes the Volvo. But John Cleland doesn't look to... Oh, and that that is Tim Sugden and Paula Cook being very macho, fighting for 16th place and getting it.
And what a brilliant piece of car control from Sugden. He got that back with an impossible angle with a tap from behind. And he wants his own back now. Look at this.
All concentration in the pit lane. Down to Redgate, Radicic 4th, Beeler 5th, Menu is up into 6th place. Number 1, Alan Menu, we're with him now. From 18th on the grid, he's clawed his way up to 6th. He's really looking good for race 2.
Yeah, he's got those Menu magnets on now, and he's now drawing Beeler back towards him. He's just been flying his way through the field. Beeler's being held up by Radicic, and that's giving Alan Menu all the time he needs to catch them.
So, out of the old hairpin, back again with Alan Menu, going for Frank Beeler. So, four-wheel drive Audi ahead, but the Renault Laguna is the class of the field today, and Alan Menu is the class of the driver. He's showing it every foot of the way as they come up to Coppice. He's going for that 5th position. He's right up behind the Audi now.
He's got him in his sights, and it must have been an astounding position for Menu to be in this race, starting from the back of the field. He probably didn't know where the start lights were. He looks like he's really lining Beeler up now as we head down into the chicane. This is the big braking duel. He's got the inside run, hard under brakes. He looks like he's going to get him, and brilliant driving from Beeler, very sporting, gave him room.
Yeah, Frank Beeler played the gent there, moved over, let Alan Menu through. So Alan Menu's next target then is Paul Radicic in the blue Mondeo as they come down to Redgate. So it's Radicic, then Menu, then Frank Beeler, round the right-hander into the descent of the Craner curves. And now we're with Ivan Muller in the Audi. That's Johnny Kane ahead, turning into Redgate in the Honda Accord, going very wide.
Yeah, I think he's been hit from behind, Murray. You saw the wheel get wrenched from his hands, and I just think I spotted a little bit of Volvo out of the right-hand side of the window there as we head down the Craner curves.
Yes, you did. It's your friend and my friend, Armin Hana. And we're with Hana. That's Ivan Muller, who's going through in the Audi. And he hits Hana, and off he goes.
Take that, revenge is sweet. You give me a bit of a tap through Redgate, and I'll absolutely punch you. Volvo into the corner pocket down at the old hairpin.
And at Coppice, it's Radicic, Menu, Beeler. And Menu is going for that 4th place. He's undoubtedly going to take it here because Radicic has yielded the line, and inside at the vital point goes Alan Menu to move up into 4th position now. And that, I think, is it for Menu because Rydell is too far ahead in 3rd place. It's the end of the line for Menu, but a great race.
Rydell and Plato would continue their battle for 2nd and 3rd places right to the checkered flag, with Alan Menu completing his charge from the tail of the field to finish 4th. But there was no way that either of the Renaults or the Volvo could catch Anthony Reid in the Nissan ahead. Heat 1 at least was Reid's race, his first touring car win in Britain and Nissan's first win since 1993. Even though Reid knew he'd start the next race from the back of the grid, this was a moment to savour.
First 3 laps were hectic. Jason was giving me a lot of heat from behind. But then he seemed to lose some pace, and I was able to measure myself and just keep a comfortable distance over a second. Yeah, just paced myself nicely. It was okay.
Heat 1 victory for Anthony Reid in the Nissan, ahead of Plato and Rydell, with Menu 4th ahead of Radicic. And with the grid order reversed for the 2nd heat, the Swiss driver would start from pole position. It was a classic Menu start, converting pole to the race lead by the first corner. Behind him, Will Hoy's Mondeo was fighting for 2nd place with David Leslie, but his Nissan teammate, Heat 1 winner Anthony Reid, was finding the going tough at the tail of the field.
And Anthony Reid is going well. No, he's not. He spins right out. Look at that tyre smoke. And Reid is off the circuit. Look back. Jason Plato on the left in the yellow Renault is going through, and he's taking Radicic, and he hits the Mondeo. Off into the gravel trap goes Paul Radicic.
What a flying traffic jam. Nissan on the right, Hana on the left, and he's tagged him. Nissan's off backwards.
On car with Hana, Beeler and Rydell behind, and Jason Plato in the background. He is gaining. That's number 3. He's going through on the inside. Plato passes Rickard Rydell and the Volvo, or does he? They're going round the corner side by side with Beeler and Hana ahead of them. What a terrific 4-way scrap.
Looking ahead from Ab's car, it's Plato and Hana. They're still at it. There's contact. They've waltzed off together.
Off, they both go. So forward through go Rydell and Beeler. This is terrific. Climbing out of the clades, Alan Menu is almost home. Fourth in race 1, first in race 2. He's going to be on pole position for the final, and everybody is delighted.
Mission accomplished so far, at least, for Alan Menu. Fourth in the first heat from the back of the grid. Victory in the second heat from pole position, with Leslie second, Hoy third and Ivan Muller in the new two-wheel drive Audi fourth on his British debut. Rydell in the Volvo fifth, the meet in the Audi sandwich ahead of Bieler, Bincliffe, Nissan and Abt in the last race meeting for the four-wheel drive Quattros. Meanwhile, Aaron Slight was shaken but not stirred.
That sort of thing doesn't happen in motorcycle racing, does it?
No, that's for real. Because we respect our bodies a bit more. I think you've got a lot of tin around you in here, and you get away safely. It's only money. But we don't get to that close contact because it's you're going down the road on your own.
Adding together the places gives the points, and the lowest score equals pole position for the final. So Menu with first and fourth gets 5, Rydell with third and fifth gets 8. Then it's Leslie, Bieler, Muller, Hoy, Plato, Nissan, Bincliffe and Heat 1 winner Anthony Reid, the top 10 on the grid for the Tourist Trophy final.
Yeah, sensational racing again by Alain. Fourth win in 5 years. But time for us now to head back to Donington, the final of the RAC Tourist Trophy, the 55th running of the world's oldest motor race. Last year's winner, of course, Alain Menu, very much the man to beat. He's in pole position. Let's rejoin Steve Slater.
Typical autumn weather with the late afternoon mist drawing in at Donington Park for the final of the RAC Tourist Trophy. The visibility was getting worse as the sun sank lower, which was a problem for the drivers, but it didn't stop the crowd staying on to watch the undoubted climax of the 1997 touring car season. 21 cars on the grid, at the head of them Alan Menu in the Renault on pole position for the 15th time this season. The question now, could Menu again turn his starting position into a victory and join Tazio Nuvolari, Graham Hill and Sterling Moss as a multiple winner of the Tourist Trophy? Second on the grid, the Volvo of Rickard Rydell, a brand new car at the start of this season, and it's improved fast, winning at Brands Hatch. David Leslie third on the grid, as we join Charlie Cox and Murray Walker for the countdown.
Hard to see anyone beating Alan Menu in the Renault. He's in stunning form. But Volvo's Rickard Rydell will give it his best shot. With Frank drive out next alongside Will there. Benelux and Pinto with Nissan and leads. Nick left and it is Montero and in his back with 380. 25 now. It's red. Green. This is it. And Alan Menu leads down to Redgate, or does he? Because look at David Leslie in the Nissan coming right along, trying to drive round the outside. And Bieler is there too. Bieler coming up, it's 3 abreast as they go into the Craner curves. And Jason Plato, look at Plato in the yellow Renault, he's up into third place, past Bieler.
And Menu and Leslie amazingly side by side through the Craner curves, contact between the two, very brave stuff. Menu holds on.
Now looking back from Jason Plato, Bieler behind us, Rydell on the right is going through and he's done it in the Volvo. Up into fourth place, Rickard Rydell behind Plato, ahead of Bieler. Climbing up towards McLean's, the right-hander. It's Renault, Nissan, Renault, Volvo, Audi, and the rest of them pouring through. Radicic coming up there in the Ford, round the right-hander at Coppice. Looking back from Jason Plato's car again at Rickard Rydell. There's an oil slick on the track there, down the Starkey Straight.
Looking back up the hill, we've got Rydell right behind us, and then behind them it's Jason Plato ducking from side to side in the yellow Renault, trying to find a way round the Nissan. Can't do it.
Into the S's and out of the S's they go, and it is Alan Menu who leads out of them. He's 7/10 of a second ahead of David Leslie. He's ahead of Plato, he's ahead of Rydell.
And as you said, Murray, there's oil down on a lot of the circuit. As we go into the Redgate corner here, you can see the big white stripe of oil. There it is. It's been covered with cement dust, but it's giving these drivers a lot of difficulty. We saw Menu slip on it into the first corner.
So we look back from Jason Plato again at Rydell. There's a bit of a gap to Frank Bieler, who is behind them as they turn into Old Hall. But now Rydell is closing right up with the first two. There are the two Audis, Bieler and Bincliffe. Muller is with them in the two-wheel drive car. We're with Hoy now. That's Muller on the right in the two-wheel drive car, and he's going past Bincliffe's four-wheel drive Audi.
It's a little bit confusing. 3 Audis altogether. It's like a shell game. But what does that tell us about the Audi for next year? The two-wheel drive getting past it. All goes well for them. He's on the pace.
Out of Coppice, down Starkey Straight again. Alan Menu has got that clear track in front of him. He's making the most of it, but it's tight up behind him. Reid, Plato and Rydell in respectively the Nissan. the Renault and the Volvo into the S's again and out of them. Menu easing away all the time. Now, Alan Menu is driving an absolutely masterly race. Don't forget he's planned this from race 1 to race 2. This is the final that matters. And there are the Audis, and behind them is John Bigcliffe. Behind John Bigcliffe is Hoy. Chris Nissen trying to go through in the yellow Audi, but Hoy staved him off, regains the racing line, and as they go round the Craner Curve, somebody is pulling off. It looks to me like Paul Radisich in the Ford Mondeo. It's difficult to see in this failing light. So, round the old hairpin again, climbing up, and that's John Cleland. We're with him, Armin Hahner in front of us in the Volvo.
John having a think about going up the inside, but he's not close enough to make a move as we go up into the claims on this lap.
Look, Chris Nissen's got somebody's scalp. What is it, Charlie?
I don't think it's somebody's scalp. I think it's actually the track markers on the apex of the corner. He's obviously found a quick line.
Yeah, and that was Paul Radisich parked by the side of the track. Whatever it is doesn't seem to be bothering Nissen. He's plugging on. And we're with Christian Abt now, 11th place in the Audi. Reed and Nissen ahead of us. I notice he's got a cracked windscreen there, right-hand side. And Reed is going for Nissen as they go into the S's. Reed is going through. He's got the inside line. Nissen has to drop back. And through goes Hahner and John Cleland. Abt has lost 2 places.
This is shades of race 1. He's actually doing very badly in defending these lines. It's 2 or 3 times now we've seen him be shuffled back through the pack. Either that or he's well mannered.
Look at this all together into Redgate. And Abt passes Kane up into 13th place, but he was in 10th position. We're with Matthew Neal now. Johnny Kane in front of us in the Honda Accord. In front of him is Christian Abt. 130 miles an hour through the Craner Curves, down to the old hairpin. And look for Johnny Kane. There he is. Matthew Neal behind him. Paula Cook is up there as well, number 17 in the Nissan Primera. But up front, it's Leslie and Plato battling for 2nd position. Rydell is still there behind them in 4th position as they round Coppice. And Menu is really flying. In fact, Alan Menu has just put up a new fastest lap. And it's not only a new fastest lap, it's a new lap record because it shattered Gabriele Tarquini's previous best.
These are brilliant conditions to set a new lap record. The air is cool and moist. That makes it more dense. The engines go a little bit better. And also the track is cool and the tyres love it as well.
Now to Redgate. This is about 1/5 distance, 5 laps out of 25. Alan Menu leads, and it's Leslie and Plato. So the Renault Lagunas are 1st and 3rd and looking good as we ride with Christian Abt chasing Johnny Kane, who turns into Redgate in the Honda and loses it.
Right across that oil line, almost got hit from behind.
Yeah, Abt and Cook have both gone through. Johnny Kane's kept the engine running. Well done, Johnny, onto the grass. That won't do his grip very much good, but he's going to get back onto the track. Up to Coppice, Menu, Leslie, Plato, Rydell. There's a bit of a gap. Then it's the 2 Audis, Beeler and Muller. Bigcliffe is next. Behind him is Hoy. Number 11 there is Reed in 9th position. We're with him, chasing Hoy and Bigcliffe down the Starkey Straight.
And this is a really, really good scrap. It's been going all race long now between these 3. Notice Hoy moving onto the inside to cover the line. Bigcliffe doing the same. Now they move back. They're safe enough to cover. Oh, this is powerful stuff. Shoulder to shoulder through the corner, neither giving way. Reed loses out there, gets a big hip and shoulder onto the grass, and it's, well, he's lost a lot of time.
Paula Cook. It's all action. Paula Cook locks up. Just manages to stay on the track. Well done, Paula. Down to Redgate. Bigcliffe goes round, and there is Reed. Behind Reed is Hahner in the Volvo. That's him. John Cleland is 11th in the Vauxhall Vectra. Craner Curves. Alan Menu is clear. He's out on his own, and the next 3 are holding each other up. Each wants the racing line. Only one of them's got it, and that is David Leslie, who is 2nd.
The Nissan is really performing well into these conditions, and it's interesting to see the Volvo having a late season charge as well, hanging on to these front runners better than we've seen it do in the last few rounds.
Here's Brunstead.
There's a little demonstration of Swedish synchronised swimming there, Murray. He went through, started to lose the back of the car, kept the power on, then lifted it, and as he did, the car spun into the grass. No harm done, just a bit embarrassing.
Long way to come from Sweden for that. But out of the S's comes the battle for 7th. Bigcliffe in the grey Audi. On the left is Will Hoy in the blue Mondeo. Trying to go round the outside, but failing is Anthony Reed in the white Nissan. And he's going to do it this time, surely, because he's on the inside line as they come to Craners. We're with Will Hoy, 8th position. There goes Anthony Reed, gaining a place up into 8th. down the Craner curves, into the old Hall hairpin again, and Harner is coming up fast behind them in the Volvo.
Yeah, that was a very fast pass by Reed. He actually set that up on the pit straight going down there. It's a good circuit for passing. He saw his moment, went wide into Redgate, and then ran it and got the momentum down the hill. But now it's a four-way struggle, and poor old Bintcliff's coming under some real pressure. Harner moving in behind. Look at the side of that car. I think I actually spotted a straight panel on that Volvo. Only about the one left, though. He's had a really rough and tumble ride, and he wants another piece of the action.
But Harner is the fastest of these four. He's caught the three ahead of him, but can he get past them?
He's got to play to the Volvo's strengths and not the Audi's strength. The Audi is brilliant out of tight corners and brilliant where the circuit's light. So the Audi right now covers the corner, then moves back because he knows he's going to come well out of the corner. As for Harner, he's got to pick his moment, get the Ford out of the way first, and then get the momentum up. It seems that the Volvo has got a real straight line speed advantage here, right in the toe behind the Ford. Look at that. Hoy moving to the inside to cover, moving back across, and now look, a big look on the inside from Reed. Tries and tries, just can't get past Bintcliff.
And in comes John Cleland. He was 11th. Well, he's not now. And John Gentry, the 888 Vauxhall Vectra designer, doesn't look a very happy man. That Derek Warwick's a hard man to work for. John Cleland, full of the joys of spring, sitting in the Vectra. And Reed is trying to muscle his way past Bintcliff to 7th.
He's getting a bit physical this time. Almost got past it. Almost did. He's getting desperate, trying to break this impasse. Has to move back again as they go over the top of the hill. Now, this is a corner that suits the Audi because the cars get light here. It's McLean's and you turn blind, and the Audi being four-wheel drive gets a bit of grip. But now as we move down the hill, and this is a downhill run to the corner, we see Bintcliff having to defend again. This is going to end in tears soon. He's coming under real pressure from Anthony Reed in the white Nissan.
4 has won there, but up front, don't forget, Alan Menu is still the leader. Leslie is still second in the Nissan. Plato is still third in the Renault as the Primera challenges at Redgate. Anthony Reed deliberately running wide, trying to drive round the outside of John Bintcliff's Audi. He'll be a good man if he can do that. Into the Craner curves, and he's done it. Incredible. Reed moves ahead of Bintcliff. And Hoy is snapping at the Audi, and Harner is still there. Great stuff.
Yeah, what a scrap. Reed just got enough car on the outside of Bintcliff. Bintcliff had to give him a little bit of room, raced very fairly, and that allowed Reed to get the momentum and beat him down the outside. And now John's up to his back doors in Alligators. They're snapping all over him.
Yeah, we're with Will Hoy, and it's Bintcliff ahead, and Hoy is going through in the Mondeo. Bintcliff has to run wide. He's onto the curb, and Harner goes through as well. So that wide move of John Bintcliff's has cost him 2 places, and Harner is ahead of him in the Volvo as they round Coppice and go down the Starkey Straight. And Alan Menu here is on his way to £25,000 for victory, winning the Tourist Trophy if he just keeps the Renault Laguna going a bit longer, and it doesn't look as though he's going to have any trouble doing that. But look at this battle now between the Nissan Primera of David Leslie and Jason Plato, with Plato trying to make the first and the second for Renault.
And Jason Plato hasn't got a lot of time left to get past this man. Undoubtedly, Plato is the faster of the two, but David Leslie is driving an impeccable defensive race as they move down the Craner curves, 6th gear, flat out, hard under brakes. They're working so hard, and he's right in his way.
And Plato's got his headlights on, trying to intimidate Leslie, but he won't do that. Leslie is a very grizzled and experienced campaigner. Into McLean's goes the leader, Alan Menu, and off goes David Leslie. What happened there?
There must have been some contact between them. I assume Plato was on the inside, Leslie on the outside, and got the short change.
So it is going to be a Renault first and second, because Plato is now up behind race leader Alan Menu, who's coming through to finish the Tourist Trophy at Donington as race winner, the British Touring Car Champion. He won the TT in 96, he wins it in 97. Plato is second, but are there going to be repercussions? It's my bet that there's going to be a steward's inquiry.
A Williams Renault 1-2 for Alan Menu and Jason Plato ahead of Rickard Rydell, with Frank Bieler giving the four-wheel drive Audi Quattro its swan song, a place ahead of the car which will replace it next season. 6th for Anthony Reed after giving Nissan a taste of victory in the heats, but a clean sweep for Alan Menu, winner of the RAC Tourist Trophy.
No, it's really good. I mean, I had a very bad start, so I almost messed everything up, but then I had to fight for it, and we won, so it's nice, great.
Yeah, great race. Yeah, good start. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. Just a shame I messed up the second race. Live and learn.
that last race anyway?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, you know, it was a top race.
Top man.
Nice job.
But, yeah, it was good. Good fun. End of the year, all that stuff. We'll be back.
So Alan Menu receives from Sir John Rogers of the RAC the trophy first awarded in 1905 and celebrates success at winning Britain's and probably the world's oldest motor race. Even after winning 12 touring car championship races this year, this victory must feel very special indeed.